Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sean, and today we're going to talk about this, the Source Audio Neuro Hub. What is it? What does it do? What can I do with it? Is it worth $100 and why should I care? Well, I'm just going to start off really simple. If you are not invested in the Source Audio ecosystem, then this probably isn't for you, because I believe that this product is aimed at two types of people. The first are people who have bought in to the Source Audio ecosystem. Maybe you have a bunch of 1 series pedals. Now, as you can see right here, this bad boy doesn't have any MIDI jacks on it, and the hub allows you to interface and control this pedal, and others like it. So that's the first type of person. And maybe you have lots of their pedals, maybe you only want to control one of their pedals. But if you have 2 or more, the hub greatly simplifies how your MIDI controller can interact with these pedals. The second type of player that this product is aimed at are people who rely on or desire greater MIDI control over their pedals, specifically in this case the smaller enclosured 1 series pedals. Most likely, like the C4, the Spectrum, the LA Lady Kingmaker, Dirt Trio, those families of pedals really open up if you've got one of these. So, what are the benefits? What are the benefits? That's what we came here for. We want to hear the benefits. I'm going to be honest, the first benefit is kind of stupid, but it means a lot to me. Being able to connect up to 5 Source Audio pedals with one of these, I mean, you have to have one for each pedal, but with a group of these TRRS cables, as opposed to one of these, right? A typical 5-pin MIDI cable, and this one was like 5 feet. I don't need 5 feet of cables. Granted, this is like 5 feet, but which 5 feet is worse? This is a lot easier to contain, right? You see how small that is? Easy. So being able to control 5 pedals from one major MIDI cable and a bunch of those little TRRS cleans up really nicely, except in my board's case, which you're going to see a little bit later, because it's a rat's nest. I'm sorry. The second benefit of using the Neuro Hub is that it gives MIDI functionality to the small enclosures, right? This is a lunar phaser, and it's got stereo in, stereo outs, 4 knobs, a USB to interface with the computer. But if you are hoping to use a cable like this, it's not going to happen. It doesn't fit. There's nowhere for it to go. This cable, however, can plug right into the top, so I can control any parameter on this pedal using the Neuro Hub. Not only can I control parameters, I can send program changes. So if I want to go without having to bend over and flip the switch, if I want to change what preset it's on, I can do that, which is really nice. So that's cool. So the third benefit, and probably the last one that I see is most important, is that it allows you to have not 3, not 6 presets on this pedal, but up to 128. Now you can have 128 single or multi-pedal presets. The Neuro Hub calls these scenes. We'll go over that in just a minute. But you can have up to 5 of these, big or small, in each of these scenes. And the hub will recall all of the parameters, where the knobs are, everything that's in the back engines, everything that you could possibly want it to do, including its on or off state for all 5 of these pedals. And you can recall them with a single program change. It's like magic. So Sean, how does it work? I'll show you. All right, so luckily for all of us, there are 2 different ways that we can, in fact, program scenes into our Neuro Hub. The first is for those old-fashioned knobs, guys and gals, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to send a program change from your MIDI controller to the hub. MIDI 1, we're going to send program change 10. And we're going to hit enter. It's going to send, and now the hub is automatically in 10. 10. So we're going to save that real quick just so I don't do what I just did 10 seconds ago. Now, once I've done that, I am going to hit this scan button, and all of my pedals are going to flash. Right, you see that? That little green flash right up at the top? Boom. So now the Neuro Hub is talking to all 4 of these pedals. And now that I've done that, I can start tweaking as much as I want. So let's set up a sweeper delay over here. Let's have a medium time, higher intensity, low rate, etc. Low feedback, medium mix. Let's make a offspring. Let's go here, right? All we're doing is we're just twiddling knobs. And we'll come over here to the LA Lady. So as you can see, if I really wanted to, I could push and go to my various presets on here. I don't have to. For the small enclosures, I can use the toggle. We're going to do that. And, adjust the treble and bass, etc., etc. And what we're going to do is we're just going to leave that right there. And now what's going to happen is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hold down the scan button, and you're going to see it flash. And that's how I know it has saved. We might as well find out what mess I just made. So let's bring up the volume. Interesting. Bring that down. So that's the sound, that's the scene I just saved to preset 10 on the hub. Done. I didn't have to go into the computer. I didn't have to do any of that stuff. It's just done. And now you can see, right, if I click on 2, everything's going to change. Right, we're no longer on sweeper over here. We're going to go back and press number 3. And it's gone back just to how I had it. Now, something that is cool is you'll actually save on-off states. If I go to my LA Lady and I turn it off and I hit save, it's going to flash again. I'm going to go somewhere else. It's on. I'm going to go back to number 3, and it's off. So if you wanted to control things, maybe you didn't want the LA Lady to be a part of that scene, and you show up to the gig and you have to make some adjustments, right? Oh, I don't want the LA Lady on. That mix is actually too much, but I want more time. Let's tap tempo it in there, right? Do all those things. And you can make adjustments on the fly while you're at your gig, and now it's saved. Go away, go back, and you're good to go. So that's one way. If you're a knob fiddler type of person, you can do that. Now we're going to go to my favorite way. All right, so I just showed you how to twiddle with the knobs and make a new scene. Now we're going to jump onto the computer, and it's just great. One single USB cable from your computer to the hub allows you to see all of the pedals that are plugged in. Something that's super annoying for me, especially because my pedal board lives underneath my desk, is that if I want to go in and make really specific adjustments to just one pedal, I have to go in, I take the USB, plug it into the Ventris, play around for a little bit. Okay, now we got to move to the next one. Go to the Nemesis, play around for a little bit. Great, save it. Boom, go to the C4, etc., etc. And it's just like cable hopping. And it is just a waste of time. It's a waste of my time when I could be playing or doing other things. Now, you plug in one cable to the hub, and all of a sudden, as you can see, I can see all 4 of my pedals right there. And not only can I see them, I can edit them in these scenes. So we're just going to open it up right quick, and let's go to, here's one I made yesterday. It's super random. I have noticed that there is a delay sometimes for updating right from the hub to the computer, and if you make something new, it doesn't change the name. So if you only create a bunch of scenes on the hub, you're going to have a whole bunch of nameless things right over here. Versus, I went in and I made this, and then I gave it a name, right? It's my Rock Crunch preset, right? It's my Ambient Swirls preset. And I've heard whispers that one day we'll be able to share our scenes as opposed to just our pedal presets, which is super cool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come over here and we're going to go to an empty one and we're going to create a scene. And you can see that down here at the bottom. And you can do it in two different ways. One, you can take all of the pedals that are plugged into the hub and just stick it in a scene. And it looks like this. Pow, they're already there. And as you can see, I have each of my pedals on a different MIDI channel. That'll come into play a little bit later. But you can also create a new scene and just make a blank one. Why would you want to make a blank one? Because maybe you only want one pedal or two pedals in your scene, and this allows you to do that. Now, I used to get really frustrated because I would have presets that I wanted to use from my Ventris. Oh, well, I want my Afterneath 2 preset. And I can't just go in and like click on the Ventris over here and be like, hey, show me my presets. Whenever I'm plugged into the hub, I can only see the scenes. Now, what is cool is that if you have been saving or uploading your presets to the cloud, whether you've been sharing them with other people or just uploading them to backup for yourself, you can actually go in and see them. So if I go to my cloud and I go to my library, all of my presets pop up. So let's say I want a Beyond Horizons. Deny. All you gotta do is double click. It'll ask you if you want to add it to your scene, and you say yes. Add as a new pedal. There it is. Everything that this preset was living up in the cloud is now a part of this scene. So there we go. We've got that. Let's turn off the delay because it's still a part of the channel. So here's what just the one preset sounds like. Cool. So we've got that. Now let's add something else. Let's find a delay. So let's do Lo-Fi Filtertron. Add to the current scene. Yes. Now I have a switch on my controller that's going to turn on my delay pedal. So we're going to hit that. And now my delay is on. And I still have my reverb. So that's one way to go about making scenes. But let's say you don't want to do that. You just want to make your own stuff. I don't like that. So we're not going to save it. So we're going to create a new scene from scratch. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a new pedal. And it's going to be like, well, what do you want to add? So I'm going to add a Ventris reverb. And whenever you click on it, it's going to open up everything that you would normally see if you just plugged in the Ventris. And I can control if it's going to be a single reverb or 2 reverbs or 18. Not going to be 18 reverbs, but you get the idea. And it's just going to go forever. And I can control it live from the computer, and I can make these scenes. So let's just set up a regular basic something. All right, so now we've got a regular plate reverb that I am acceptable with for the sake of this. We're gonna add new pedals. So let's add, sound blocks. That's right, you can control older pedals too, but we don't want to deal with that right now. Where is the nemesis in this? I can't read. I'm going too fast. There's the nemesis right there. So now I can come in and let's make a sweeper. And it'll load it up, and we can adjust everything just like we normally would. That's not being a sweeper though. There we go. Oh, it was saving all of the... So, here's one thing I have noticed, right? It will, if you are coming from another preset or I've already saved something to this, right? So I had brought in originally, right, a lo-fi sound. So it was saving the distortion and sample rate reduction on it. Right, and so now I've got this weird sound that has my delay. And, oh, let's say maybe I don't like this plate anymore, so I'm going to go back and change it to my favorite all time. Warbly. Not usable, but you get the idea. Going out. So once you've done that, all you have to do is come down over here and hit save, and it'll ask you to name it. You can just say Warbly, never use, ever. And that's preset 18. And anytime I send PC 18 to my hub, it's going to bring up that thing, which we're never going to send because, well, it's in the title. Never use, ever. All right, let's get down to brass tacks real quick. So we've gone over a lot of information. I've told you a lot of stuff. And I just want to be honest, because this isn't for everybody, and that's okay. And not everyone's going to use it like I use it, and that's also totally fine. But if you were to ask me, Sean, is $100 worth it to be able to control 1 or 2 Source Audio pedals? If you have a MIDI controller already, or you plan on getting a MIDI controller already, then I don't think there's any reason not to. You could spend $150 on one of the small enclosure pedals, and then an additional $100 on the hub, and then after tax you're looking at $280 ish. I don't know how much the Electron Super MIDI analog distortion pedal is. I don't know if they make the Dirt Clod anymore. I know that was over $200. Next, you're looking at, like the Strymon stuff, and those aren't cheap either. So, space-wise, you can put the thing, right? You can put the Neuro Hub underneath your board. I don't do that because I plug it in too much, but you can have it sitting underneath your pedal board and save and still do everything that you need to if you're the twiddly fingers type of person. If you were to ask me, is it worth $100? Yes. For me, it is absolutely worth $100. Regardless of where I go to play, I can use my computer or I can use my fingers and twist those knobs and save my sounds. I can go to jam. I can set it up in my studio. I can figure out all these crazy kinds of textures and all these crazy presets and these cool sounds, and I can share them with other people, which is super awesome. In order to do the same thing, right? If I had my Big Sky out, if I had one of those other analog MIDI controllable distortion pedals, if I then had a, TC Electronic triple delay, I can't, it doesn't work as well together. Then I'm sending multiple MIDI messages to each one in order to get them where I want them to be. So my ES8 can send like 8, I believe. 8 MIDI messages per patch, like that. And I'm wasting 4 of them that I could be using on expression, or that I could be using on some other type of commands, just trying to get those 4 pedals where I want them to be. If you use the hub, you send 1 message. It goes to all of your pedals, and they're there. It is honestly kind of magical. Now, if you only have 1 pedal, I don't know if it's worth it to you. You have to decide. But I was hesitant a year and a half ago when I got my Neuro Hub. I had the Nemesis and the Ventris, and I was running big MIDI cables to them, and they were working just fine. And And then I got a hub. And the life was easy to go with everything else. So, you know, take this with a grain of salt. You know, use your brain, do your research. You know, I did this because I like their pedals. And a lot of people don't understand. And I see on the forums, like, what do I do? How does this work? Is it worth it? Everyone's different and everyone has different needs, but it is absolutely worth it to me. So, hey, Sean, at the beginning of this video, you were like, you can do all these crazy kinds of things. When are you going to tell us about that?